Y'all, I was talking for at least a good 10 minutes and the video wasn't even on. I'm telling you, I'm a senior citizen with this phone. I love my senior citizens, okay? I'm not far from there. I'm just saying, I'm speeding it up. I'm speeding up the process on how I deal with electronics. I know it's around the corner for me. Oh my goodness. Shout out to Grandma. Love all the grandmas out there, okay? Um, but I understand. I understand when you think you are working electronics and you are not working anything. Oh my goodness. So I'm happy that you're with me. I'm happy that we're together and I finally got this video running. So we're going to add interest today to a black veil. I feel like amongst all the veils out there, the black veils are the most popular. I know at least on my Etsy shop, the black veil is just the most popular veil, the most popular color in the veil world. Um, and because there are so many black veils out there, and I feel like for the most part they're simple, plain, which is great. And I'm all for simplistic, minimalistic, classic, clean. I'm for all of that. But I'm always looking for ways to add interest to the minimal and just add a little touch of something that makes your head turn when somebody walks in the room and they're like, I like that. What is it about her? And it's just that little something. So I'm going to fill you in on what I've learned thus far and what I've done. Most times, so my goal to add interest to a plain black tulle bandeau veil was to add a rhinestone applique of a flame. Okay, this was the first one I did. Now, adding heat to tulle is really going outside of the rules, right? Because usually you don't add heat to something as thin as this, especially high heat. And most appliques, uh, iron on appliques need high heat whenever you read the directions. So you usually don't want to use a high heat with tools. Look what happened here. Singe. Okay, it reminded me, okay, do we know what we're working with here? Yes, we do. But it was when I saw that this material was untouched and the rhinestones pretty much kept its form, I said, you know what? It's not the material, it's me. How much heat should I use? How much time should I use that heat on the tool to get the desired look that I want from this applique, right? The desired transfer, right? So what I did was, let me show you here. Point this camera down. There we go. All right. So this is a 20 inch width, 10-inch length black tulle veil pre-cut. Can I tell you, most veils out there are pretty much the standard size, I should say, are about 15 by 7. 15 in width, 7 in length or height. Though that is just too small for me. I have an oblong face, and you know, I want to make sure that my veils can fit those who have an oblong face, full face. So I like the 20 by 10 because guess what? When you have, I feel like you can, when you have the shorter material, you can't make it wider. But the wider material, you can make it fit tighter just on how you position your veil. So basically you can, with your bobby pin or your comb, the further back you put it, you can have it fit firmer. And the closer up you come to the ears or in front of the ears, you can have it fit looser. You can tilt it to the side. You can do so much with it. You can have it on the bridge of your nose. You can have it at the mouth. You can have it full face. So I find that making my veils with more material, I feel like it's, to me, more versatile. Okay. All right. So let's get back to what we were doing here. All right, so I have my 20 by 10 material. I gathered and folded one side, adding a 2-inch 1 rhinestone bobby pin. You can get these pretty much anywhere, Amazon, Alibaba, AliExpress, Claire's Boutique, Walmart, okay, Target. Very, very easy to find these. Okay. So we'll fold and gather the other side together. Then I laid my material out, and then I got my applique. You can kind of see it here, the rhinestones here. And I laid it on my tool, and it's off center. It's not in the center of the tool. It's a little off center to the side. You can choose either side you want. I got my parchment paper, and I set my iron all the way to high. Now earlier I did put it on medium, but medium did not work. I went back in with high, and the secret is to keep your iron moving. Don't hold it still, because when I held it still, even with the parchment paper, that's when I singed my material. This isn't on, by the way, it's off. So I counted. I did one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let up, checked it, and did it again. So I did about 3 counts, counting 3 reps, counting to 5 each time, and then slowly lifted my the plastic that was attached to the rhinestones, and it worked. Interesting with the directions here, they say when you lift it to an angle, not straight up, but lift it at an angle. And I did that, and we have our flame. Yeah, and we don't have anything singed. There's just little pieces of white here, and that's just from the adhesive from a few rhinestones that did not stick. So I will be going back in there and just removing some of the little bits of leftover adhesive over there. So now let's fold and gather the other side, and I'm going to remove this black pad here so we can see a little better. All right. Okay, so now I am folding and gathering my tool on the other end to add the bobby pin. And what's a little bit different here is once I fold and gather, you see how it's like a nice little triangle. If I was using a comb, this would be fine. I would just sew this. I would sew this first and then sew this to the comb. But because we're using something as narrow as a bobby pin, and I believe my bobby pin, where did my bobby pin go? It actually dropped, but okay, I'll worry about that in a second. So I'm going to fold it again. making it more narrow, because this is going to have to fit in my bobby pin. Okay, so just make it as narrow as possible. If you can fold it again, go for it, because I need this to be quite narrow. And believe it or not, you're not going to need many stitching here because it's so narrow. If you notice my hands, I don't know if it shows in the video, but my hands may look a little dry. I find I can't use lotion or oil. All of a sudden my material will look I don't know if that's happened to you, oily or greasy. If I use lotion or oil on my hands, I'm like, okay, the sacrifices we go through for our our crafts and our hobbies. I've learned my lesson. I would do a veil and go, what is that mark? And sometimes it would be from the oils that were on my hands from lotion or from oil. So I make sure to keep my hands quite dry when dealing with materials such as this. How's everybody doing? How was your day? My day was good. My day was a good day. All right. So we have it stitched. Now we're gonna cut. Let me just, okay. So I like to kind of pull it apart to try to see if anything pops out, and it does. You see that there? That popped out of my gathering, on my folding, when I was folding. So I'm gonna go back in. Happy I didn't cut anything. I'm just gonna refold that. Yeah. And I'm just gonna come down, bring my stitching down a little bit to get that material. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's nothing popping out. Everything is gathered. So now I'm going to make my final knot on this side to seal my stitching. Let's see here. Make sure there we go. I think one knot for this material is enough. Now, I heard it. Heard that bobby pin fall to the ground. I think, yeah, I think I also need to re-thread my needle. So let's do that for the bobby pin. I love using bobby pin, needles that have a wide eye, because you just don't have to, it's so easy to thread. Easier. make our knot at the end of our thread. And I'm going to, where did that bobby pin go? I heard it flop to the ground. Here, bobby pin. Okay, I found you. Glad it was a bobby pin and not a needle. Oh man, I hate finding my needles by stepping on them. I prefer not to find them that way. Okay. Okay, so we have our gathering. Now I'm just going to flip this over. And I believe, okay, this is kind of facing up. I just want to make sure my bobby pins face the same direction. So now we're going to put the material inside, between the two prongs of the bobby pin. There we go. Okay, can you see that there? Yeah, it's holding it almost like hair. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, I just need to make sure these bobby pins are facing the same way. And they are. Okay. So now I'm gonna just fold this over and just kind of sew it underneath, but being careful not to sew into this because I don't want it to pull and look awkward after I'm done and I go, why is that too bunched up there? So to avoid sewing that, I'm just going to put a little clip there to make sure I don't sew down. Move it down a little bit, because sometimes you can. Yeah. Okay. So let's get the ball rolling. Maybe I should start from over here. Okay. Yes. Love it. Love it when the needle hits the thread and you come through one side. I always wanted to learn how to sew, and for some reason hand sewing is just so much more gratifying to me. I don't know why. Working with, I guess maybe because you're working with your hands, but I mean, sewing on a machine, you're working with your hands too. It's just a different feel, right? It's a different feel. One is with a motor, one is without a motor, more manual. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer hand sewing, or do you prefer machine sewing? Okay. So now I want to just make sure this can't be easily pulled down, and it cannot. Great sign. That means I'm pretty much finished. Okay, so now I'm just going to create a knot over here. There we go. Actually, you know what? You see how that's sticking up there? I'm going to come back because the other side is not doing that. I'm going to sew that down a little bit more. Make this a little bit more neater near the bobby pin. A little bit more neater. Yeah, that's working. Yeah, okay. I think we have one more stitch and we should be done. Okay, let's go. Okay, now I'm gonna lock things down on this side. There we go. Okay, people. Yes. Can't wait to now put it on our mannequin. See what divaliciousness we got going on here. Yeah. Okay. So I just love looking at the visuals. I'm using duct tape. Yeah. I think this side needs to be pulled more so you see the flame, right? Like a moth to a flame. Wonder how many moths she's gonna pull in when she walks into a room. I can see this, wearing this with maybe a white suit that has a black collar. Yeah. Nice. You know what I do when the material is a bit flimsy? I like to just add a little bit of starch. Give it a little bit of hold. Let it dry and yeah. And then we'll play with the top a bit. If this is on your head, of course, you know, you can always take a bobby pin and pin it down. But I prefer to control the material because with a bobby pin and tool, sometimes, or with any sharp object and tool, that's a bobby pin or the metal combs, you can snag the tool material and it can almost run like stocking, some of these tools. So I prefer to really just work with it organically without having to pin it down. Yeah. I think if it goes this way, you could still show off that flame. Yeah. Yeah, she's coming along. She's coming along. But look at that. I'm really digging the flame. I think that adds enough interest to where it's not just overwhelming. It's not too distracting. It's perfect to me. It's perfect to me. Yeah, guys. Let's see, so you can see better. Right? There goes our flame. We have our rhinestone pin. Let's see, let's show off the rhinestone a little bit. Yeah, got our rhinestone pin. Simplistic enough. Make sure this one's showing as well. Yeah. Got to get the bling from those pins. That's gonna look nice. Yeah, I like her. What shall we name her, guys? Fire and Desire? We miss you, Rick and Tina. Okay. Yeah. You could just play with that there. Or that's it, bring it up a little bit more so it has more height. Yeah, I love playing with it for a minute until we get the desired flow. In fact, let me move this flower out the way so it's not a distraction, so we can see a little bit better. Yeah. Come on, Fire and Desire. All right, guys. Hope you had as much fun as I did today. Let's make those veils interesting, shall we?